don't swing for the fences in another. Just try to make it even keel all the way through. We'll see if that's what the players do, but that's not for a little bit. As of right now, we're going into this matchup. A lot of fun. Adriel going up against Ryley, our current world #2, who honestly looked like maybe we were going to say goodbye to him early yesterday, but he was able to come back and stay alive. And then on the other side of it, we had a really fun matchup. I mean, these were our first 2 matches of the day, Ryley versus Yoru, and then Ruben versus Adriel. Really, really fun to see Ruben and Adriel match as well. So here we go. Going back to bait. Ryley was the only person that we saw run bait yesterday. He did it in his last match, and his last match in the very first game. And we'll see. I mean, apparently he liked what he had there.
Yeah, another thing is about this match. I saw someone say in the chat today that Ryley took Adriel's spot at the World Finals last year. That's the reason why Adriel didn't quite make it to the top 8 for the World Finals. So this is interesting. I think that Adriel has a lot to prove here in this best of 3.
Yeah, that's a great little bit of history there to add to the drama of this matchup. I mean, definitely 2 guys that are feeling like they're at the top of the world. Ryley definitely has the edge on Adriel in that sense, and Adriel getting a really nice breakthrough here. Boss Bandit's still there to tank. Ice Spirit comes in late. Mighty Miner is able to clean up that hog. 22-59. Adriel up by 1, but Mighty Miner on the board and a hog hit in as the Evo barrel comes out. Perfect timing, perfect everything there. You can see both of them with the raise of the eyebrows. Adriel proud of his prediction and his play there, and Ryley going, all right, man, okay, cool, let me get some damage somewhere.
Yeah, I like this matchup a lot for Adriel. He's got a really quick cycle. He even has the Fire Spirit, which is good versus Goblin Barrel. And he's locked in. He's got a nice prediction on the fake barrel as well as a log onto the real Goblin Barrel with that Evo. And now Ryley's in a situation where he's going to have to keep spamming. He's going to have to get even more Goblin Barrels on the board to try and cycle back. But he does get some damage into here. But here comes the hog. Earthquake gonna drop down. Boss Bandit dashing. He goes for a defensive Goblin Barrel. He's struggling. The Boss Bandit connects with the pre-log. And this tower is gone. Ryley's already thinking about what deck he's gonna play next game, realizing this one is over.
Didn't love that barrel right in the middle of all of that, Juicy. You know, he was Ryley was able to get back to a second barrel and kind of use that defensively, but honestly, he sent a barrel in the middle of Adriel's kind of defense and counter push, and that barrel, it only pulled out 2 elixir, and what I was gonna say, but then Adriel just straight up 3-crowned him was, I would have really loved to see Adriel use the Skellies plus Fire Spirit combo to take care of that barrel. It just made me, you know, when you see Mo do that in the height of gameplay or at World Finals, you're like, anyone can do it, man. It's, you know, and it's like, it should always happen if you're a pro. Didn't happen. Ryley spends a little bit more on offense than I think he should have, and then Adriel completely overruns him. What else went wrong that game, Juicy? It really did feel like Ryley was, just like you said, you really liked the matchup. Was it just the matchup there from Adriel? Was it over-aggression from Ryley? It all happened so quickly. Help us out.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that in general, there was a lot of aggression from Ryley, maybe even a little frustration after Adriel had that nice prediction with the skeletons. But another big component there is just the Earthquake. Adriel hitting a pre-Earthquake on the cannon, you know, just 2 times made it so that Ryley was really struggling for elixir on defense. I mean, a lot of the time we do see Ryley have some really good placements, use an anti-Earthquake cannon placement, push the hog over. The problem was that Boss Bandit, though. I think that he was kind of struggling to really get that cannon anti-Earthquake while pushing the hog, while dealing with the Boss Bandit at the same time. There's just a lot of moving components, and that Boss Bandit is really hard to control in a situation like that.
Yeah, that Boss Bandit really did kind of feel like the it factor there. You know, you cycle or you factor in that 3-card cycle to be able to deal with the barrels and the double barrels there, the Evo barrels. Excuse me, but when you look at the responses to the Boss Bandit, you just have goblins, you have your cannon, you have the Ice Spirit, you saw a Goblin Barrel come out, and then the best response is the Mighty Miner, which is kind of the worst response, right? The best thing about the Mighty Miner is getting that charge up, but if the Boss Bandit's going to dash twice against it, or even just once, all of a sudden you see Ryley go, oh man, now I need to play goblins. Now I need to play Ice Spirit. Now I need to play something to protect my princess. Oh, the princess is now tanking for the Boss Bandit. So I guess I have to play the cannon. Well, I need the cannon for the hog. So all things kind of went wrong there. and a lot of it was just the matchup and just not having a great tank. Boss Bandit, man, we saw yesterday, we talked about her quite a bit. She really can turn a match on the dime for the good or the bad, right?
Such a strong card.
Accidentally use that ability a couple times, or you cycle her in the wrong lane, she can really, really punish you. Although in game number 1, really worked out for Adriel.
Yeah, she's a double-edged sword. If you know what you're doing with it, it's really going to provide an insane amount of value. But if you make even one mistake in how you play it, or an ability here or two, next thing you know, you've used 8 elixir on one card, and your opponent's overrunning you.
So those decks you guys are seeing on the screen are not what we saw in game number 1. Those are from the previous matchup. Just a heads up in case you are worried and anyone repeats a card. And don't worry, we're on it.
Gobstein in the back, and looks like Ryley's got the Tesla. Ryley using a drill deck with the Dark Ob without the Evo Dark Ob or the Evo Tesla. So, and without the Evo Drill. So what even are the Evos here? This is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting, and I can't imagine he made an Evo mistake, but with only 2 spots left, he's going to have to hope that he didn't. There we go. Evo Valkyrie is the second to last. Goblin Doctor, Goblin Monster coming out. I think I called him the Goblin Giant earlier. Give me a break. It's 7 in the morning. And also, we haven't seen much of the Goblinstein. I'm really happy to see Goblinstein kind of working its way back into the meta, honestly. I know that for a long time, people were sick of it and thought it was a little too powerful. Definitely a really tough card to balance, but I do think it's found itself in a good spot. Goblin Doctor doesn't feel too powerful. Goblin Monster doesn't feel too powerful. Neither does the ability.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree. I think it's in a solid spot, but it's still in certain situations able to provide some value. In this situation, I don't see it getting much, though. Ryley with the poison, probably going to be dropping a poison top of the Gobstein most of the time. And if not, he'll have that Valkyrie on top, help him cycle to his Evo Valkyrie. Valk going to drop right now.
So, yep.
Under the drill here.
Evo Bomber's showing up a few times throughout the competition, which has been nice. Not super popular in general after its nerf, but I think that was a good nerf, Juicy. I mean, it definitely felt like it was completely hamstrung after it happened, but I don't know. I mean, how many times could you lose a game on an Evo Bomber at the bridge that you couldn't get to?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that he is in a pretty healthy spot right now. It definitely just doesn't seem like it since he was so strong before, but I mean, it's still able to get really nice ship damage, and when we're either playing at the highest level, any sort of damage matters. So it makes sense why we're seeing him come out a couple times here in this drill deck.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you make. You always see that at the highest level. Any lick of damage is incredibly important, and yeah, that bomb coming through for only 2 elixir is the other thing you got to remember. So, all right, here we go. Another push coming in here from Adriel. Focus on that right-hand tower. 2204 plus the Evo Snowball.
It's the Valk and the guards.
Wow.
But he's able to stop it. He's staying alive. The goblins do get one more hit, and the Gobstein scientist as well. Adriel now up about 300 damage here, despite not having a big spell.
Yeah, Adriel just keeping up some really great pressure, and you know, this iteration of this deck is, you know, kind of what we saw Pedro run as well, and I don't know, pretty cool. Seems like it's working out all right.
Yeah, Adriel's liking it as well.
We didn't see it all yesterday. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think, yeah, you're absolutely right. We haven't seen it at all, and it doesn't even look like a good deck, honestly, but it's working, and that's all that matters. Speaking of working, these guards are working. Get some damage for Ryley on the right side, and all of a sudden, we're kind of evened up. We have about 53 seconds in triple elixir overtime. Arrows on the Dark Ob, and Ryley completely switching lanes.
Here we go. Poison on top of the hut. Hut right in front of the tower to catch the guards, plus the drill. Now the Evo Snowball comes in. Goblins from the hut, though, should come out and help. 1353. Still a decent amount of damage in there for Adriel. Down to 1330 against 405. Ryley back on offense. Evo Valk, the great equalizer, comes in. Fire Spirit on top, but those goblins are going to get on top of the tower. Fire Spirit mistimed.
And once again, this is the importance of having a log or bar barrel in your deck. if the opponent goes for the Evo Snowball and you don't have something to take out those goblins. And once again, look, the goblins are in the tower. Ryley with a snowball on offense, but the bombers helping out. Goblins still get hits. This is shot for shot. Everyone is going in for the damage in the last second.
The Dark Goblin
locks on the tower, and Ryley takes game number 2, tying up the best of 3.
I mean, he just slides that right in
Wow.
the perfect timing, right when Adriel sends in the drill, just a little bit short on Elixir. And we do CRL, top 1,000 players get invited to what then gets you to the end of the month in our CRL monthly finals. So I hope that made sense. But the best way to do it, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitch, follow along on Twitter or X to make sure that you see when these competitions happen. And then, hey, we could be calling your matches here, just like how I've never called a Tourist or a Yoru match before this weekend. Been doing this for a very, very long time. That could be you this year.
All right, we're hopping to the game number 3 here. This is an elimination match, so someone's going to be walking home away with $500. I mean, it's not nothing, but I know the ambition these players have. They want that champion prize. And the Ram Rider ignores the Goblin Hunt once again. This pathing, the recent pathing update, I'm glad I'm seeing it not only affect me, but also the best players in the game.
Yeah. That's a really good point that you make, because I definitely have found moments where, I mean, and Ryley's not completely out of this game, but he is in a bad spot. But I've definitely found that happen quite a few times. Great King Tower activation there. Still cost him a little bit. Where the new pathing has just completely done me dirty.
Okay, Monk in the back from Adriel. We have a skeleton surround last second from Ryley. Really well played. That's going to be 0 hits with the help of the King activation. And you're right, it did cost a lot for him to make that activation happen, but it's an investment. It's going to help him out for the rest of the game now. But now he has to deal with this expensive push with the Monk, Ram Rider, and once again, Ram Rider getting pushed to the side by the Monk, making it so that it completely bypasses the Goblin Hut. And Ryley's just shaking his head. He's taking a lot of damage. He's shaking his head here.
He's so tilted, and I can imagine why. I mean, it's 2 back-to-back missed pulls on the exact same push coming across the bridge. A Monk plus a Ram Rider. The Monk, the density of the Monk, body blocking, pushing that Ram Rider maybe a half tile over. And yeah, with that new pathing, that is not going to do it. So Ryley going to have to get a little more used to playing that Goblin Hut, just 1 tile over to the right. And, you know, it's going to pull the Ram Rider, and it's also going to spawn Goblins to help out in that case instead of doing a whole lot of nothing.
Monk counter pushing left-hand lane. Adriel does have Lightning as his last card in this deck, or he should. So that's also going to make this even more difficult to make this comeback happen. Goblin goes on the left-hand lane again. It is placed 1 tile up, and the Ram Rider isn't getting pushed by anything this time, so it will pull. Augrider does get some hits. Ryley's starting to lock in here and maybe get some damage back. Maybe there's a comeback possible here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, he's doing a great job getting damage where he needs. He's, you know, as we've talked about for years, he's sacrificing that left-hand tower HP and gaining elixir for that. He's also making really great micro interactions using that King Tower like you talked about to make up for elixir. So it's definitely not over, especially with that lightning. And now you see Adriel kind of hitting the panic button a bit, going, okay, wow, all right, you've got a big spell. You got that boss bandit that's causing me a lot of trouble, and I'm only in the lead because you missed 2 pulls on my Ram Rider. So Adriel's starting to feel the pressure here. Great Skellies plus Ice Spirit, 1068, 829. Ryley felt like he was completely out of this. Now the splash from the Firecracker is in. Ryley has just about taken the lead. Not yet. 918, 829. Hog Rider in.
Hog Rider in. Ram Rider try and slow it down. Ice Spirit to freeze. The King Tower is helping, but the Hog does get the hit. Ryley now... Wait! The Boss Bandit re-dashes back to the tower, and Ryley is lightning range. Will Adriel build a lightning block? No, he has nothing to make it happen. Ryley is going to make the craziest comeback we've seen today.
No way, dude. No freaking way. That is just being lulled into a false sense of security. Adriel had everything he needed there. And even if it was a bad matchup, Juice, I don't know. If you're up by that much damage,